Hello there. How's everyone today? So today we're going to make Kamut oatmeal pancakes. See that? Hello there, El Viejo. I can't wait to see your picture of this one. He does such wonderful pictures of what we make here. Thank you, Adam, for inviting followers, and Tony the Man for joining in. If you aren't already following, there we are. Hi there. If you aren't already following me, please do. And let's see, begin again. Jen, thank you for inviting followers, and El Viejo for inviting followers. Let's see, Tony has now invited followers, and Susie Gomez. And El Viejo shared on Twitter too. That's so wonderful. Am I rested now? Yes. How many of you saw Danica's scope last night? Thank you, Lauren Ashley, for inviting followers. And oh, I missed one. Miss JD Blue. Yes. Well, yes. Whatever that was, I also was afflicted. So I spent all of yesterday just resting. I thought about scoping yesterday, and thank you, DeRay of Light, for inviting followers. And I was just like, you know what? I better wait a day. All right. So how many of you have heard of Kamut flour? Aw, thank you, Joe. Tornado? Well, our flight was delayed, diverted, and then canceled. I think that had to do with thunderstorms, heavy winds. So far, no one has heard of Kamut flour. Well, it's an ancient grain. It's a type of wheat, and it was the actual, thank you. Yes, I'm glad we're all home safe too, and you know, Abigail, all right. I need to get a bigger something. Anyway, I need to get a lot of stuff to do this better for you guys. Yes. You know, you heard about our flight, and I do think American Airlines did the best they could. At least they got us as far as Dallas. Now, it would have maybe been nice to know ahead of time. Thank you, Animal Lover, for inviting followers, and Annie Wilner, that we were going to be staying overnight in Dallas before we could actually get home, but at least they got us that far. We heard that the flight that was supposed to leave 2 hours after ours, when we got into Dallas, it was still waiting to take off. So I don't know if they ever did or not, you know, if they had to wait till the next day. So at least we got away from the weather on the East Coast, and and so that we could get home the next day. Whoever said that about Crystal, Crystal is very committed to her family and her career in law and with a venture capital firm, and so she's not into social media. She loves it, you know, when she does it with Danica and I. Whoops, I just hit some vanilla here. But other than that, Tony the Man. All right, Tony the Man. Do you work for American Airlines? Danica hadn't even attempted. I mean, we didn't even go up to the counter in Dallas. I stayed in line in case we needed to, but in the meantime, we were both on the phone to book the three of us on a flight where we could sit together. Since we had Draco, that was very important. That, you know, we didn't end up just, you know, three of us in a bunch of middle seats spread apart on the airplane. That just couldn't happen. There had to be at least two of us together. And then also getting a hotel, because all the hotels near the airport were completely booked up. All the hotels that American Airlines had direct access with there at the airport, they were all completely full. So thank you, Ms. Diana, for sharing. So we never talked to anyone at the counter. Our concern was getting Draco and ourselves to bed too, to get at least enough sleep so that we wouldn't be totally exhausted the next day. I hope Jaco feels better too. I've heard from Danica that he's doing much better. I haven't seen him yet myself. So anyway, let's see. Are you ready? Oh, I was going to tell you a little bit about the flour. It comes from, the actual name of the wheat is, I'm going to pronounce it Khorasan. It's Khorasan. I've never heard anyone say it, so I don't know how it's pronounced correctly, but I'm going to call it Khorasan wheat. And it's so ancient they don't know. There's no written history anywhere of where it came from, but it's likely that it originated in the Fertile Crescent, and it gets its common name of Khorasan from the province of Khorasan, which included a large portion of northeastern Iran into Afghanistan, whoops, sorry, and Central Asia. It was brought to the United States in 1949 by an American airman. Doesn't say if he was Air Force or what, but anyway, he flew planes. He was from America, and he brought some grains, or he sent grains home from Egypt to his family in Montana. This was 1949. Yeah, from Egypt of all places. They say, according to legend, those grains were found in the tomb of an Egyptian pharaoh, an ancient Egyptian pharaoh. So it got the nickname King Tut's wheat. And it was probably brought to Egypt by invading armies from that Khorasan region. Another legend relates that Noah brought the grain on the ark, resulting in the nickname prophet's wheat. And then in Turkey, it's nicknamed camel's tooth because it sort of resembles, I guess, a camel's tooth. So when the grain was first brought here, no one really cared about it, so it kind of got forgotten. And then, thank you to Mac and Bob Quinn, two Montana farmers in, would that, no, well, at least for me it does not, but I'll get to that. In Montana in 1977, these two farmers, Mac and Bob Quinn, decided to cultivate the wheat, and in 1990 they registered, I'll read this to you. They registered the protected cultivated Tyrannicum variety QK77 as the trademark Kamut, K-A-M-U-T. I say Kamut, not. Vicki C. Hank invited two people. I am really curious, Vicki, why you chose those two people. I mean, you must know more than two people, right? Why did you choose those two people? I'm really curious. I am seriously curious. All right, so the Kamut, and that's what you see everywhere is Kamut. In recipes, that's what it's called. You very seldom see the Khorasan name, or you'll see both. Now, I first, why I use this grain when I do my own baking, cooking. I also use spelt, but the Kamut is the one I'm using in this recipe. So it doesn't cause all the bloating or indigestion problems for me. I mean, years ago, wheat didn't do that. And then in the past, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years, gradually I've noticed issues with eating wheat. And I just thought, well, I'm getting older, right? That's what we blame so many things on. Oh, I'm sorry it's a bad connection. Is it a bad connection for other people? How is it for you guys? Not okay. Okay, so I'll just keep going. I won't start over. Yeah, so I just thought it was that. And then a few years ago I went to Italy. And thank you for letting me know that it's good for you guys, the connection. Anyway, I went to Italy, and by then I really wasn't eating wheat hardly at all. And then I was in Rome, and I'm like, hey, I'm in Rome. I have to eat pasta here. I just have to. Why would I want to eat anything else when I'm in Rome? And so I ate the pasta that night, and I thought, you know, if I suffer a little bit, it'll probably taste delicious, it'll be worth it. Well, it tasted delicious, and I had no issues whatsoever. And I was in between Italy and Greece for, it was 10 days, maybe 2 weeks, and I ate either bread or pasta or both every single day, and I never had an issue. Not any issues at all. So I came home and I looked into it. Yes, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. That's kind of how I was thinking. And so I came home and I looked into it, and I found out about these ancient wheats, and I found this Montana company. Let's see what it's montanaflour.com. I mean, you can find this flour in health food stores too, but I at that time didn't realize it. I found this company and I love this company. It's Montana Flour and Grain, and their website is montanaflour.com. Now, I don't get anything for this. I'm just sharing my personal experience. And this company, it's more than 150 family-owned and operated farms in Montana, neighboring states, and Canada. Yeah, I have been a lot of places in the world. I love to travel, and any opportunity I've had, I've gone for it. Kamut flour is only organically grown. It's never been genetically altered, and they've never even tried improving the grain by crossing it with, with a modern wheat. So it hasn't been altered at all. And something else I really like about this site, which I just noticed today, is that they have a part where they teach and encourage other farmers to change from conventional to organic methods. And I just think that's wonderful. So, and a little bit about the health stuff. There actually has been studies, and I'm sorry that we're not cooking right away, but I so much want to share this with you, and then it's not going to take long. It's a very simple recipe. According to the 2012 Assessment of Kamut Wheat Quality in the World Journal of Science, Technology, and Sustainable Development, Kamut has more proteins, lipids, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals than modern wheat. And then in a clinical trial in 2013 that was reported in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, hey sweetie, MahailaMcKellar just joined. Hi sweetie, I'm just talking about the history and the benefits of eating Kamut flour. Hi, instead of our modern wheat, especially the wheat that's grown in the United States. Thank you, sweetie, for inviting followers. I guess you guys know by now when I'm saying sweetie, I'm talking to Danica. Anyway, so in this European Journal of Clinical Nutrition, they reported this human clinical trial where they took patients, and for 8 weeks they had them eat the only grain they ate was Kamut, whether it was pasta or bread, whatever, it was only Kamut. Then they did 8 weeks that they called a washout, washout 8 weeks, and then they gave them 8 weeks of modern wheat. After the 8 weeks with the Kamut flour, these patients all had decreased bad cholesterol and decreased inflammation markers. They also had an increase in potassium and magnesium, and that's a really good thing because potassium and magnesium is something that most of us are lacking in. Hello there, all you Danica followers that are coming in now. Hi there, welcome. We're talking about Kamut flour, and we're going to make Kamut oatmeal pancakes. So, so this Kamut flour, it's a type of wheat flour, so it does have gluten in it, and but how can I put this? I feel that it doesn't have the same impact. Now I don't have any sort of, true gluten intolerance, no disease of any kind. I was just finding that I was really affected by eating wheat here, and then this does not have. Think coconut flour. Well, yeah, then but that's a whole other area, because then and we just did something with coconut flour last week. So anyhow, this is, if you want to make something with wheat, this is a wonderful wheat to use, and it comes in both whole grain and white versions. So I'm using the whole grain version. Okay, so, and for those of you who didn't see it, these are the pancakes. Pretty good, pretty good. I really like them. All right, so here we go. So first we're going to put all of the dry ingredients in a bowl. And that starts with 2 cups of the flour. There you go. Now, I don't know with the comments and whatnot, not sure what side of the screen things are on, but this green bowl was my mother's bowl. She gave it to me while she was still alive, and she had 2 more bowls just like this that now Danica and Crystal each have one. So the 2 cups of flour followed by 1 cup of rolled oats, and then 1½ teaspoons or 1/2 tablespoon of baking powder, and we want the non-aluminum or aluminum-free kind. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. I use the Himalayan pink salt, and a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Of course, the cinnamon, the oats, all of this is organic. And then you just stir these together. Let's see if I hold this like this, you can see. Stir these together. And put this down so I don't spill it. Until it's all mixed together. So you get all of that pretty evenly distributed. It'll get mixed again when it goes into the mixer, but that gives it a head start on that. Then in the mixer, we're going to put, you're getting hungry now? Oh, good. You're going to put 3 eggs. These are organic eggs from pasture-raised chickens. Yes? Oh, good. You should have a food show. This is a food show. You are my audience. You for the reason. This one, all those little red and blueberries. Is that raspberries and blueberries? What's my favorite food? Oh my goodness, it depends on my mood. So, all right, so we got those beaten, and then the next ingredient is 3 cups of buttermilk. Now, I don't have buttermilk. I don't usually carry buttermilk in the house or keep it here because I've not found an organic version of it. So if you have organic where you live, that's great. Maybe you get it from a local farm or something, or a local dairy. But so I'm going to use 3 cups of almond milk, and you can use any kind of milk. And to that, I'm going to add 3 tablespoons of vinegar. And I'm using Bragg's organic apple cider vinegar. You could also use white vinegar, or but stay away from something like red wine or balsamic. That would kind of be weird tasting. So in goes the milk, and we let that stir. And then I have here, and I'll be posting this recipe on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So, it's splashing out at me. All right. Can I go one lower? No, that's the lowest. All righty. So, one of the hazards of cooking is getting splashed by what you're cooking. 5 tablespoons of melted ghee. Ghee. You can tell I'm not quite back to myself after our little trials and tribulations. And I now have ghee all over my kitchen floor. Alrighty, now after the ghee, it's splattering out of you guys too, I am going to add 3 tablespoons of maple syrup. You know, I get the organic maple syrup. Grade B. It has more nutrients in it. And now that that's all splattered everywhere, I'm going to add my dry ingredients. This will help significantly on this splatter issue. Hi, everybody. Yes, I love this bowl. I do. Yes, I do too. Wow. See, when I made this earlier, because I had these for breakfast, I only did 1/3 recipe, and this did not happen. These were not splattered around. It's been a long time since I made a full recipe. I think it was when Danica and Draco were staying with me. Yes, Danica does look similar to me. She actually looks just like my dad. She got my dad's nose. I wish I'd gotten my dad's nose, but I'm okay with my mom's nose. So, all right, so this is all done. That was it. This is all done. Now what you want to do is let it sit for at least 5 minutes. More like 10 is better. What that does is it softens the, Crystal has my eyes. Different. She has her dad's eye color, but she got my shape of eyes. Anyway, you guys are distracting me. Oh yes, to soften the oats. You want it to sit for a while to soften the oats. And then you cook these just like you do any other pancakes. You know, you get your griddle or your pan hot. And I'm glad this person thinks these pancakes are sexy, but anyway. Oh, I hope I didn't block the wrong person. Anyway, so you get your griddle or your pan hot. Now, I don't get it quite as hot because I want them to cook a tiny bit slower. Oh, my goodness. No. All right. By the way, I'll go back and make sure I blocked the right person. So anyhow, what was I saying? Yes, you want to, oh, the pan. Yes, the pan. I cook it a little bit, not quite as hot as a regular griddle for pancakes because I want them to cook a little slower, to cook a little bit more through the middle because these are thicker, slightly denser. If you don't, in fact, if you don't like them this dense, what you could do is add a little bit of the white Kamut flour, but I like sticking with the whole grains myself. And I use ghee to grease my pan. I don't have a griddle, I use a pan. I use ghee, I put a little bit in, let it melt, get a paper towel, and then very carefully, so I don't burn myself, spread it around and soak up the excess with a paper towel. And then you put the batter in, you let it, you know, cook till it bubbles. You get the little bubbles on the surface, turn it over. Ghee is clarified butter. It's a little different from clarified butter in that after it's separated, it gets cooked a little longer so it has a deeper, nuttier flavor. And I use ghee instead of butter. And it has a higher temperature tolerance, so you can cook up to 450 degrees with it and it holds together. It's also better for us. It's very similar to coconut oil. And in fact, if you like a coconut flavor, you could put coconut oil into the recipe instead of ghee. You can, you know, use coconut oil for your pan, or you can do, you know, some of each, or if there's another oil you prefer, that's fine. No, it's not Friday where I live. I was traveling this week and had some issues getting home because of weather and flight delays, and other things came up, such as food poisoning. So, not from my cooking. It's just one of those things. And so I had to postpone until today. Yes, I had to recuperate. I had to get a real night's sleep and feel better. Oh my goodness. All right, I did spill that ghee on the floor and I almost slipped on it. So now, oh, I was almost forgetting to tell you about the buttermilk syrup. And this is really easy to make. It's going to be on the recipe I'm going to post. You get a pan, a pot, small pot, and let's see, and in it, again, I'm using the ghee. I'm sorry, but it wasn't my cooking. It was not my cooking. Okay, so it's 3 tablespoons of ghee and then a half a cup of buttermilk, or the buttermilk substitute, you know, the milk and the vinegar. And or something else you can do is, you know, I think it's Organic Valley has a buttermilk powder. I buy ghee at Whole Foods Market, or actually also any of the health food stores in Los Angeles carries ghee. It'll be right next to the butter in the refrigerated area. So anyway, oh yeah, the buttermilk. There's buttermilk powder, organic buttermilk powder that you just mix with water, and so I've used that too. So you can do that. So whatever your buttermilk is, you use a half a cup of that and then a half a cup of maple syrup. You heat that to boiling. You let it simmer for about 2 minutes. You remove it from the heat, and then you add half a teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of vanilla, real vanilla. Please don't use vanillin or any other. Actually, I think that's the only artificial vanilla there is. But then you're also going to use almond. Yes, 2 teaspoons of almond extract. I don't know if there is an artificial almond out there, but if there is, please don't use it. Please use the real stuff. And if you can get organic, even better. So, and then you stir that in, and then you have this syrup. I'm just going to show you. Now, this one's a little cool. Let's see if I can show you this. And again, I only made a little bit. Can you see that in there? Well, no. All right. I don't want to spill it on the floor again. There you go. So it's yeah, some of the ghee has solidified because this has been sitting out for a little bit. But you see that? Yeah. And then, if I can do this on camera, it would be lovely if I can. You have your pancakes, and you pour this on. And there you are. All right. So that is Kamut oatmeal pancakes with your buttermilk syrup. Now, I got this recipe originally from a website called Grain Crazy, and I have changed it a little bit here and there. That's where I first found it. Yay. If I were hungry, I would eat this now. I'm not hungry right now. I already had some. Okay, so that's it. Are there any questions? I've talked about the flour. Oh, and if you want to cook the pancakes, it's just like any other pancake batter. If you want to cook it on a higher heat, you can always add a little bit more of your whatever your buttermilk is to the batter to thin it out, so then it'll cook faster. But at this thickness of batter, which let's see, can you see that? It's pretty thick. You see, it's pretty thick when it moves around. I like the lower heat. How did you get yours so fluffy? You mean the pancakes? I just cooked them on the griddle, just like I said. What syrup do I use? I get organic syrup. This is Shady Maple Farms. Actually, I think this is what I've been using for a long time. I like it because it's in a glass bottle. It's not in something plastic or tin. I stay away from any of the tin stuff as well. I like it's in the glass bottle. It's organic. It's a U.S. grade B, which that kind of sounds like, oh, it's not as good as grade A, but the grade A is more refined. So this actually has more nutrients in it. So this is what I use. It's USDA organic. No drip, pour spout, but that's beside the point. The brand is Shady Maple Farms. Shady Maple Farms. Now, one thing I read recently is that, because I have the organic maple syrup available, that's what I get. But just the, yes, I'm going to post the recipe, absolutely. Oh, yes, that the way maple syrup, it comes from the tree and everything, and just the very nature of maple syrup, they don't have to use a lot of pesticides or other things. So it pretty much is organic anyway. I feel better with the organic label because just because something is grown organically doesn't mean that every step of the process between there and getting to my house is organic or supports that. The best, well, I don't know the best food to get organic food from. That depends on where you live. Some people have farmers markets that they can depend on to be honest, that it truly is organic. Not all farmers markets are like that, so you need to know that. if you, in addition, actually know about the farm that you're purchasing from at that farmer's market, even better. In Los Angeles, we have several different health food stores. There's one called Co-Opportunity in Santa Monica. There's Erewhon, which has been around forever. It was one of the first health food stores. I don't even know when it first opened. I was first aware of it in the 1970s, and they're wonderful. All of their produce is organic. Whole Foods, it has a lot of good stuff, but at Whole Foods you still need to read labels carefully, because not everything, a lot of stuff has sugar in it. I don't think anything has artificial ingredients, but I'm not 100% sure of that. But I don't think they have anything with artificial ingredients. But they do have genetically modified foods there because they sell corn that's not organic and things like that. So you really need to know your labels and what it is you're looking for. So everybody, all right, I think we are done for today, and thank you so much, and my apologies again for having to postpone a day, but I'm glad we got this done this week and I didn't have to cancel altogether. And thank you for joining me. And if you have anything you want me to scope about with food or on an Intentional Tuesday, please let me know through Facebook or Twitter. I don't know that you can do that through Instagram. I don't know. If there's private messaging, I guess you could, but I've not done that yet. So Neo HXC, thank you for joining me. We're just closing. I hope you'll watch the replay. We made Kamut oatmeal pancakes today. And someone else just joined. Okay, well, again, we're just closing, and thank you. I will enjoy the rest of my weekend, and I hope you guys like the pancakes when you use it. Alrighty. Okay, bye-bye.